My name is Fire, Fury.
Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Fuel Your Drive. I am your host, Josh York. The sun is shining like crazy right now, so I apologize for the weird, distorted image here. But welcome to today's episode, and today we're going to be talking about how to overcome anxiety. There's going to be some real nuggets in here, and a lot of people don't like to say it, but a lot of people suffer from anxiety. I used to really suffer from anxiety back in the day. It was to the point where it was so bad that I used to actually throw up in the morning. Every single morning. I did it for, oh my God, I must have done it for like 2 years at least. But before we get into that, remember, please make sure you subscribe to my podcast. You don't want to miss updates. You don't want to miss alerts on new episodes dropping. A lot of great content that's going to help you, going to help your personal life, going to help your fitness life, going to help your wealth, going to help your business. Make sure you subscribe. So let's get into it. So the question is, how do you overcome anxiety? Now, if you go to a doctor, what is a doctor going to do? A doctor's going to prescribe you medication. I've never taken any medication for it, never even considered taking medication for it, because I believe the mind is the most powerful thing you have. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have. And I said it twice because I want you to hear it and I want it to sink in. Now, as I say, and I've said it before, the easy way never pays well in life, ever. Okay. Now, obviously, to overcome anxiety, you're going to have to push through some pain and some challenging moments, but you need to put into perspective, like, what's so bad is going to, like, what's going to be so bad that's going to actually happen. Okay. Depending on the situation. So back in the day, I'll give you an example. I used to suffer daily when I started GYMGUYZ daily. And I am actually, I'm probably very, 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 very introverted. Maybe I've gotten a little better. You wouldn't believe that. But when I am not like on and out and about, I'm not partying. I'm not hanging out with 700 people. I am just kind of focused. Family time with my kids. I like to play hockey and I like to work out. I actually enjoy the quiet time and I enjoy the alone time. But it used to be very difficult for me to talk to people. And obviously, if you want to grow a business, you better make sure you are good with talking to people and building relationships and developing incredible sales skills. So you need to know when you got to be on, you have to be on. That's important. But it used to give me anxiety all the time. If I had to talk to a team member because I had to, give them some direction on something, I used to suffer from anxiety. Getting up every morning when things were so difficult and I had more negatives in my bank accounts, and I used to suffer from extreme cash flow issues. And I had people quitting on me left and right, and I used to question myself every single day. And I had every single person telling me, oh, Josh, this is never going to work. What are you, an idiot? Go open up a small gym, have people come to you. Oh, Josh, what are you, crazy? You didn't raise millions of dollars. You're not going to take this anywhere. Oh, Josh, this business has so many holes in it. It's like Swiss cheese. Oh, Josh, yeah, if you sell one franchise, I'll pass out. It would never happen. You're going to build the biggest franchise brand in the world. Good luck. When you have so many negative people coming at you all the time, how can you not have anxiety? You're going to question things, right? You're going to listen sometimes, but you have to learn how to tune it out. But honestly, I always talk about working out and exercising, and doing my workouts during that time was probably hands down the most challenging thing ever. I mean, ever. Like, just to get to work out and push myself was so uncomfortable, like to the point where I couldn't even breathe. Okay, that's how bad it was. But then towards the middle of my workout, when I kept pushing myself, I started feeling better because I was moving. And towards the end of my workout, I started feeling even more better. By the time the workout was complete, I actually was anxiety free. And I started seeing this trend every time I was working out. And I was like, wow, like working out cures anxiety. Later that night, I was actually okay. It would start up all over again in the morning. Now, as you know, I'm an early riser. I've always been an early riser. But back in the day, I could not train early in the morning like I do now because I used to train clients early in the morning. My first client was at like 3:45 in the morning. So I didn't train till the afternoon. I was saying to myself, well, maybe I start training earlier, get it out of the way, push it, I'll feel better throughout the day. So if I had a cancellation or I had time, that's what I would do. And I set my day up for success. But I started realizing and getting in my mind. Remember, I told you, your mind is very powerful. I used to say to myself, you know what, this is going to go away later. So, I'm going to work out. I'm going to feel great. But then I started saying to myself, why am I having anxiety? Like, what's the point of it? Like, what's actually the point of it? I used to think about it like, okay, am I going to quit? No. Am I ever going to quit? Never. It's never going to happen. I'm not going to stop until I win, and I will figure it out. And I started, look, today you have so much information out there. If you're listening to this podcast, you are a top performer. If you're listening to this podcast, you want to grow. If you're listening to this podcast, you're going to be successful, because at the end of the day, you want to grow and develop, and that's how you win. Back in the day, there wasn't as much, content as there is today. So, I was looking to books, audio books. That really was my way at that point in my life. And I was connected with some business people, because I used to train some very successful people. So it was good to get some insight from them. But a lot of these people have not done what I am, at that point in my life, what I was about to do. I was just starting the business, so it was hard because, most of these people, had established businesses were handed to them. They were in different fields. It might've been technology. I was, creating a new category from scratch in the fitness space. So it's very different. But I started telling myself every single morning when I would wake up that everything's going to be okay. And you're not like everybody else. You're unstoppable, Josh. You're the greatest, Josh. You need to push through this. I used to tell myself that every single day. And, it's funny because like I listen to so much information that's out there today. Like I hear all these people talk, and it's like I had this figured out 25 years ago. I was doing things like this. I've always been exercising. I've never been fat, overweight. I was always in shape. I was always a step above a step and ahead of everyone else. I was always first at whatever I did. I made sure of it. I was just always super, super, super competitive, but the anxiety used to kill me and used to drag me down. And how I really got over it was knowing that I was going to get that workout. I looked forward to that workout, and I made sure I got that workout in, and it really, really helped me. But you need to put in perspective and ask yourself, what is really going to happen? Okay, let's say you're running a business and you run out of all your money. You have nothing left. Listen, trust me when I tell you, there is always a way. If you can't, if you actually can't figure out a way, and you say that it's not possible, well, then you're going to lose, and you're a loser. Sorry, that's the truth. Truth hurts. That's the truth. If you want to win, you figure out a way. You know how many times I've been down that road? How am I going to make payroll? How am I going to pay this bill? It's just going to happen. You're going to figure it out. But you draining all your energy and time in that anxiety is what's going to kill you. And to some point, I started saying to myself, you know what? I know it's going to always work out because the universe always delivers. I just can't think. I have to train myself not to think. And what I mean by that is I don't mean like not think when you're trying to come up with a plan to take action. I mean, you can't think when things are happening. Like you just need to kind of wipe it out and not think about it as if it almost doesn't exist. But I'll give you an example. I remember at one point I owed somebody about $150,000. Okay. This is going back a long time ago. And, I would never tell them I didn't have the money. I'd work things around. I'd send a little bit here and there, but the money was coming to them. But there's sometimes it was weeks that I wouldn't pay, and no one reached out to me. And I kind of forgot that it was there. I wiped it out of my memory. But then I would see that email pop up, and then anxiety would kick in again. You have to train yourself, right? So you need this to happen. These things need to happen. I get that pit in my stomach. It dropped all the way down to my foot. I feel it for a second. I take a deep breath in. I'd exhale. If I felt it again, I do another one. I usually do like 5 of those. Take a second, tell myself not to react, and say, what's going to happen? What's going to really happen? Well, I didn't have the money at that point. So what am I going to do? Are they going to come after me? What's really going to happen? And when you actually put it in that perspective, the anxiety goes away. But then weeks later, I get another email, comes in again. By the 10th email, you become numb to it. Just like you train yourself to eat a certain way, or you train yourself to work out a certain way, you become numb to it. And when you do, you develop a skill that cannot be taught. It's got to be earned, that skill. And it's got to be earned through pain. Pain is progress. You have to remember that. So with that said, eventually I paid that person back. It took a little bit of time, but what happened? Nothing. And they got their money, and I paid them back because I knew it was going to work out. I made things happen. I was taking action every day. I was doing small little things, stacking those wins, making sure I continued to keep driving the business, and revenue would start coming in. Guys, you have to remember this. Action is going to bring money. It might not happen from day one. It might take day 100. It might take day 200. But if you're onto something and you know something's great, just don't quit. And when it comes down to the anxiety, workout. A workout can cure anything. Okay. It really can. Okay. If you're exercising and you're taking care of yourself, obviously not everything, but the majority of it, it's going to cure. So make sure you exercise, make sure you're pushing yourself. And when I say pushing yourself, I mean pushing yourself, not exercising like, just kind of going through the motions and not huffing and puffing and panting and not, feeling that burden, that pain. You have to do that. That is what cures anxiety. That is really the answer. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to my podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Please make sure you leave a rating, leave a review, share it with a friend. It means the world to me, guys. Remember, I don't need to do this. I'm doing this to put out good vibes and good energy to help other people, because I wish I had this when I started. And I promised myself, and I promised the person upstairs, that when I did get to that point, I would put out this content. I would help people. I would give them direction, and I give them the keys. The keys. Once you have the keys, all you have to do is stay in that road, take action, and follow it. So guys, thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Until next time, remember to fuel your drive. See ya.
Legend. Do you know my name? My name is Legend.